Yo, what's up, Kinshasa? Welcome back to Kinshasa today. Today, we're going to be doing like a deep dive, into this whole thing with former President Kabila, right?
Right.
It's big news here. Everyone's talking about it. Like, just back in 2024, he officially moved to South Africa, set up base over there, and now, bam, out of nowhere, this statement drops on April 8th saying he's coming back.
Yeah.
It's got everyone wondering, what's the real deal here?
Big implications for sure.
Yeah.
And the way the announcement is worded is all vague, right? He says he's coming back through the east, but no specifics, no date, no exact location. I mean, come on, man.
Exactly. And, we can't ignore the timing of all of this. We've got this big meeting happening tomorrow, April 9th in Doha. Kinshasa and the M23 rebels all sitting down trying to figure out a way to end this conflict in the east.
Right.
And then, boom, Kabila drops this bombshell. You can't tell me that's just a coincidence.
I think it's fair to say that the timing is, at the very least, interesting. Makes you wonder if it's strategic. We've been looking at all sorts of information to try to understand this better, talking to political analysts here in Kinshasa, people who've worked with Kabila, even international organizations.
Yep.
We're trying to connect the dots and see what's really going on.
Okay, so let's break it down a bit. Yeah. First off, when is this happening? And where is he coming back to? The announcement just says, via the east, which, as all of us here know, is where this whole mess with the M23 is going down.
Yeah. And initially, there were rumors going around that he was going to come through Goma.
Ah, Goma.
But that turned out to be false. Remember, Goma has been under M23 control since March.
Right.
So all this conflicting information just adds to the confusion. Nobody seems to know what Kabila's real plan is.
It's like trying to figure out a puzzle with missing pieces, But one guy who thinks he might have some idea is Christian Maleka, a political analyst here in Kinshasa. He thinks the timing of this, right before the Doha talks, is super deliberate. Like Kabila's trying to make a statement or something.
Well, Malek is probably thinking that Kabila wants to be seen as a major player even before he sets foot back in the country. Maybe trying to influence the talks, maybe trying to put pressure on someone. Who knows?
Right. And Kabila's own crew aren't exactly clearing things up either. They just say he's coming back in the coming days. That could mean anything.
Exactly. Is he really coming back to help fix things, like his statement said?
Yeah.
To be a peacemaker, a unifying figure?
Or is this just a straight-up power move? Like, let's not forget, President Tshisekedi's been talking about shaking up the government, maybe even forming a national unity thing, something Kabila's PPRD party already shot down. Could this be Kabila's way of flexing, showing he's still a force to be reckoned with?
That's a real possibility. And this is where things get even more worrying, right? Some sources are saying that people close to Kabila haven't ruled out working with Corneille Nangaa and the AFC M23. If that happens, man, it could really shake things up.
That's a scary thought. But let's rewind a bit. We're hearing Kabila's been hanging out in Harare, Zimbabwe, where he's been living for almost a year. Apparently, he's got a lot of visitors. Like, who are these people coming to see him?
Well, from what we understand, it's a lot of his old crew. Former advisors, political allies, people who were loyal to him back in the day. Looks like he's been keeping those connections alive, maybe even building new ones, even while being out of the country.
And one name that keeps popping up is John Numbi.
Ah, yes.
For those who don't know, Numbi is the former head of the National Police, wanted by the military justice system here in connection with the killings of Floribert Chebeya and Fidel Bazana. He's also chilling in Zimbabwe, and Kinshasa wants him extradited, right? But why is he still hanging around with Kabila? That's what's got people talking.
Yeah, that's a big red flag. And to make things worse, Numbi released a video late last year straight up threatening President Tshisekedi. If he's still tight with Kabila, well, that makes you wonder what Kabila's really up to.
Definitely not a good look. And the plot thickens, There are rumors Kabila's been talking to opposition figures who've gone into exile in Europe, mainly Belgium. And that's not all. Apparently, he's still got support from some community leaders in North Kivu. And this is the kicker. Some of those guys are supposedly linked to armed groups in the region. What does that tell you?
It tells me that Kabila might be putting together a pretty big network of support. People inside the DRC, people outside the DRC. Maybe he's trying to rally all these different groups to back him up,
We got to think about the regional angle too, right? Word on the street is that Kabila has been talking to Kigali, despite all the tension between our countries in the past.
That's interesting. One of Kabila's close guys even said that things between Kabila and Rwandan President Paul Kagame are much better now. No more bad blood. Pretty big statement, right? What could that mean for us? It could mean a lot of things. Maybe Kabila's trying to make new friends in the region. strategic alliances and all that. Or maybe he just wants to smooth things over. Whatever the reason, it's a move that could have big consequences.
And then there's the whole Corneille Nangaa situation.
Right.
Nangaa, for those who don't remember, used to be the head of the CENA, or Electoral Commission. Now he's leading the AFCM-23, the guys causing all this trouble in the East. What's the deal with Kabila and Nangaa? Are they connected?
According to someone in Kabila's inner circle, yeah, they're talking. Not sure what about, but just the fact that they're in contact is a big problem. A former president talking to the leader of a rebel group, that's not a good sign, man.
Not at all. If it turns out Kabila's actually working with the AFCM-23, that could be a real threat to President Tshisekedi.
No doubt about it. It could make things here way worse. We already got over 40,000 Congolese people running away from the fighting in the east since January alone, ending up in Uganda as refugees, according to the UN. Our resources are stretched thin trying to help all these people. If Kabila comes back and things get even more unstable, who knows how many more people will be forced to flee their homes? It could be a disaster.
And let's be real, Kabila said he talked to regional and international players before making this announcement. But we don't know who he talked to, what they said, or if he even has their support.
Right. It's all very hush-hush.
Kabila's been keeping a low profile since he left office in 2019, busy working on his thesis about China and Congo. But this return, man, this changes everything. He's stepping back into the political arena, and the timing, with all this talk of a government reshuffle and the conflict in the East, it's got people thinking he's got bigger plans.
No doubt. The PPRD, Kabila's party, they're starting to make noise again, too. Feels like Kinshasa's about to get caught up in another big power struggle. And with all these shifting alliances, the whole region could be affected.
Yeah, and we can't ignore what some people in the government are saying. Like Jean-Pierre Bemba, the vice prime minister, he's been saying for a while now that Kabila's behind the violence in some provinces. He even said he's got proof and he's going to reveal it. Strong accusations coming from a high-ranking guy like Bemba.
For sure. It shows you how deep the divisions run.
Right. And then we got our foreign minister, Therese Kaikwamba-Wagner, saying just yesterday, April 10th, that there's no role planned for Kabila in the efforts to stop the violence.
That sounds like the government's putting its foot down, right?
Seems that way. They're not exactly welcoming him back with open arms. It's like they're saying, we got this, Kabila. You stay out of it. But remember, back on March 18th, Kabila was still in Johannesburg and denied any involvement with the M23, called the accusations lies. He even said, we need a Congolese solution to our problems, not outsiders meddling. Powerful words, especially now.
Yeah, he's playing his cards right. Makes himself look like the guy who understands the situation, the guy who can fix it. But is he being sincere? Hard to tell.
So as you can see, this whole Kabila thing is complicated. It's not just about him coming home. There's the war in the East, the political games in Kinshasa, all these different groups and their agendas.
It's a tangled web, man. And the sources we've looked at, they all point to one thing. Nobody really knows what Kabila is going to do next. And whatever he does, it could make things here a lot better or a lot worse.
The big question is, what happens next? How will things play out when Kabila gets here? How will Tshisekedi react? What does this mean for the peace talks in Doha? These are the questions we're all asking, and we'll be watching closely to see what happens. This is a big moment for the DRC, and we need to stay informed.
Absolutely. The future of our country is at stake, man. And whatever happens here, it will probably affect the entire region, too. So keep your ears to the ground, folks, and stay informed. Get your news from different sources, listen to different voices. Don't just take one person's word for it. This is too important.
That's right. Thanks for joining us today on Kinshasa Today, where we keep you up to date on everything happening in our beautiful, complex country. Peace out, Kinshasa.